It's with humility and gratitude that I stand here today on the TEDx stage, a great organization that allows individuals to spread and share ideas worth sharing. In particular, I'm here representing and part of the TEDxQueensVillage outfit. Brooklyn and Queens are shining boroughs of New York City, filled with art, creativity, and energy. In particular, and specifically, their best quality is their perseverance and resilience. This was supposed to happen in the year 2020, but we all know what happened then. However, with the strength and determination, the Queens TEDx Village is rebooting at this time. I'd like to thank Lena Povolotsky for helping me put together some of this today. I also have to thank my parents. As a young child, they allowed me to explore and to sustain trips and falls. They also allowed me to see the world and supported my education with love and encouragement. In addition, they helped me solve problems with my head and my hands. They helped me aspire to become an orthopedic surgeon. I have to thank my family for their love and support and challenging me as necessary. I'd like to present a talk today. It's called Managing Musculoskeletal Mishaps. First of all, musculoskeletal is a long, complex medical word that not many people might understand or even pronounce. Musculoskeletal is having to do with the muscles, bones, and joints of your body. And the musculoskeletal system gives you support, form, stability, and motion. It consists of 206 bones, 360 joints, 126 of them are extremity joints. There are 33 vertebrae and around 640 muscles. As an orthopedic surgeon for about 20 years, I dealt with people with acutely traumatized body parts. Orthopedics is the study of musculoskeletal system and the treatment for the conditions around the musculoskeletal system. Over my 20-year experience in the world of orthopedic surgery, I came to realize, and my eyes were opened on how traumatic a slip, trip, and fall is and how it leads to permanently changed musculoskeletal system. In my career as an orthopedic surgeon for about 20 years, I was able to see many people suffering from this type of condition. I'd like to share a story or two about my orthopedic career. But before I do that, I want to introduce 4 terms: compression, distraction, torsion, and shear. There was a woman who came into my office. She was about in her mid-40s and had a great life, 2 kids and an endearing husband, with a large house, high ceilings, a lot of space, and wide staircases. She was an athletic person, but over the years and through her kids had put on a little weight. She liked staying active, but had a mind and time demanding work. She was a female co-founding entrepreneur with a humane company that was trying to positively impact the globe. It was one morning she had a meeting and she had some nervous energy, as she always did, and her house was getting ready for a big party and was ultra clean by her cleaning service. She was getting dressed in the morning, putting on her sheer stockings and business suit, heading down her mahogany-stained stairs. About halfway down, her right ankle turned in and she fell backwards, reaching for her wrought iron handrail. She grabbed it but was unable to stop herself and it released. She fell, injuring her left hip as it struck the stairs, jamming her back and her neck. At that time, she was spinning slightly down the stairs, stopping herself by kicking the last stair with her left foot, jamming her toe. She fell forward, striking her right index finger and extended wrist to the ground. Just as her right knee struck the stairs and the floor, the forces across her arm caused her shoulder to dislocate, and then she fell to the ground, jamming her neck, and her head struck the floor, causing dizziness. She came to in a matter of seconds. At that point, and during that fall, her musculoskeletal system and the joints of her musculoskeletal system suffered forces: compression, distraction, torsion, and shear. From her right ankle sprain to her left biceps tendonitis to her trochanteric bursitis, her low back strain, her neck sprain, or great toe jamming, right index finger sprain, right wrist sprain, shoulder dislocation, neck sprain with whiplash, and concussion. So the brain is not necessarily part of the musculoskeletal system, but it is an integral component. It's where our computer lives, and it gives us the electrical wires, or our nerves, that give our musculoskeletal system coordination, but it also gives us sensory feedback. So this has to be mentioned. From all these injuries, is there something that could have been done to diminish the severity of these injuries? Let's take a brief look at the laws of motion postulated by Sir Isaac Newton in 1867. The third law is the action-reaction law. That's essentially saying to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So a knee striking the floor is striking the knee at the same force, and this can cause bony or soft tissue damage. The second law of motion is force equals mass times acceleration. So force is an exertion on an object causing a change to that object. It's dependent on somebody's mass, which is essentially their weight and their volume, times their speed, or the acceleration at which the thing is moving. So essentially, those people with too much weight and poor musculoskeletal control run the risk of having an increased forces across their joints. So what's going on with this woman in my office? Certainly, she's not going to make it to her meeting, and she's also not going to enjoy her party this weekend. But what's happening inside her within the first minute after her fall is the inflammatory process. Inflammation is how we fight off disease, but it's also how we heal after trauma. In the year 1 AD, an author named Celsus, a Roman author, developed the cardinal signs of inflammation. They are rubor, which is redness, dolor, which is pain, tumor, which is swelling, and one more. All four of them have a culmination of inflammation. That's the fifth sign. It's called functio lasse, or the loss of function. These inflammatory conditions are happening right away in her body, but it also happens to anybody with a single joint problem. And I'm sure you might have heard of the acronym RICE, or RICE therapy, postulated by Gabe Merkin in 1978. And he later recanted and elaborated on this because medicine has changed since 1978. I want to share with you a 21st century acronym regarding how to help yourself after acute trauma. It's called being preactive. So if you have joint pain before you're active, be preactive. The P for preactive is positivity, and that's maintaining a positive mindset. And there was a book in 1954 by a minister named Peel, and he believed that faith is an important aspect of staying positive. So no matter what faith you have, there might be a spirit or a higher power to help get you on the right mindset to healing. The R is rest, and rest is a part of RICE. You have to rest your body after you hurt it, but only for a short period of time. The E, the first E, is elevation. So when you have a swollen joint, elevating it, getting it above your heart, will bring the fluid back to your body as opposed to your extremities. The A in preactive is anti-inflammatories. So after you consult with your doctor, you can potentially take anti-inflammatories to help fine-tune and diminish the inflammatory response. The C is compression, also found in RICE, and the joint, when it swells, if you compress it appropriately, it will diminish the swelling and the stiffness and the inflammatory response. T is for topicals, and there are topical solutions balms, ointments, or creams you can put on to help diminish your feeling of pain, help alter the inflammation, and help you start healing. There are also topicals that are more mechanical, like vibration, massage, electrostimulation, or ultrasound. These used appropriately can help stimulate healing and get the body on the road to recovery. The I in preactive is ice. Ice is a great modality to help cool the joint down, cool the inflammation, and help diminish pain. The V is voluntary behavioral modification, so when you have a sprained ankle, you shouldn't run on it. If your wrist is hurting, use the mouse with the other hand, and or use your shoulder, or don't use your shoulder if it's hurting you. The last E is exercise, so using the appropriate and the right exercise at the right time can help stimulate your body to heal and overcome that acute injury. The goal is to prevent it from becoming chronic. A chronic injury is one that never fully goes away. It's hanging around for more than 3 months or so, and it flares up from time to time. Upon using the right tips and suggestions, tools and resources, it will help you recover and get back to an optimal state. For this young woman in my office, or anybody with a single joint problem, the exercise is a crucial component to recovery. Walking is a great exercise to help people, but it's mainly a cardiorespiratory exercise. So it helps your circulation and your respiratory function. It can boost energy, strengthen your bones, and increase your immune system. However, range of motion upon walking is not full. Donald Shelburne, a prominent orthopedic surgeon at Yale, believes that attaining full range of motion after acute injury is a key to obtaining an optimal result. Before increasing the forces across your joints through toning, strengthening, and conditioning, it's imperative to regain full range of motion. So where are we today? Well, it's understood that accidents happen. Musculoskeletal mishaps are very common. One thing about this woman in my office, she is not alone. Slips, trips, and falls are quite common. Globally, falls are the second leading cause of accidental or unintentional injury deaths worldwide. Each year, about 645,000 individuals die from falls, and over 80% of them are in low and middle income countries. Adults older than 65 suffer the greatest number of fatal falls. There's about 37.3 million falls that are severe enough to require medical attention each year. The percent of hospitalizations has risen from 28.4 to 32.4% in 2019. 1 out of 5 falls cause serious injuries such as broken bones or traumatic brain injuries. In the USA, there were over 8 million emergency department visits in 2019, and they are the most common cause of traumatic brain injury. The percent of deaths due to unintentional falls has risen from 14.8 to 22.8% in 2019. And in the over 65 crowd has increased about 30% from 2009 to 2018. There were nearly 40,000 deaths due to unintentional falls in the US in 2019, and they are the leading cause of injury-related death among people 65 and older. And about 18,000 deaths were due to traumatic brain injuries in 2019. The average medical costs from hospitalizations per individual was around $43,000 in 2019 and has risen to $50,000 in 2020. The average work loss is around $65,000 per individual, and it costs businesses around $17.5 billion a year. Finally, where do these slips, trips, and falls happen? About 60% of them happen in the home, and about 30 to 50% of them are due to poor environmental factors like lighting, uneven surfaces, or slippery falls. There's one fall every 11 seconds, and about 80% of them in the age group of older than 65 occur in the bathroom. So I propose that if your body is ready for the fall, you will hopefully have a less severe type of fall for you. In addition, there's more than just walking to achieve an optimal outcome after accidents. Walking only has low back motion of around 50%. Your hip moves only around 33% when you walk, your knee less than 50%, and your ankle around 50%. So regaining full motion cannot occur with walking alone. By doing the right activities and the right exercises at the right time, including all those things in preactive, you can achieve a higher outcome. Our goals are to be happy, and healthier joints make happier people. It allows you to therefore do those things that bring you fulfillment in your life. If we think about the acronym preactive and we change the order of the letters, we can create a new phrase called I can prevent. So the only addition are two N's. The first N is next to the A, so it's still anti-inflammatory. And the second N is for nutrition. So nutrition plays a big part in how our body reacts and how well we can get after injury. I'm a huge proponent of practicing preventive orthopedics. So preventive orthopedics is part of a lifestyle that keeps you active. It allows you to be proactive with your joint and your body, so you can therefore focus on those things that bring you happiness. By maintaining full motion in your joints and strong muscles around your joints, you will protect them from failure. Part of our goals is to have joint security, meaning holding on to your joints for your life, and also enduring and leading a loving and fulfilling life. It also increases your health span. Your health span is essentially not being dependent on pills or assistive devices, or not suffering from chronic pain, but rather being able to focus on those things that bring you happiness. And it's really important that you guys care for yourselves, because once you suffer from chronic pain, then you lose your potential and you are not as happy as you should be or could be. I thank you so much for listening and want to encourage you to share this with anybody who has joints.